The year is 1999 and Gran Turismo 2 was released to the public. In its cover, one can see the dashboard from a Mclaren F1, so it will be safe to assume this car is present in the game. I mean, it is the cover car. At first glance, there's no Mclaren dealership in Gran Turismo 2, so where is it? Well, according to the internet, one has to buy 100 black cars and it will appear in your garage. It sounds kind of absurd, but sure, it's not like I have anything to lose at this point. After filling my garage with black Daihatsu midgets, I go to my garage and oh my god, there it is. After all these years, I can finally drive a Mclaren F1 in Gran Turismo 2. However, it's not so simple. You see, this shiny Mclaren F1 is nowhere to be found in vanilla GT2. I just couldn't help to revive this old myth which I always found hilarious. Instead, it is part of Project A-Spec, a Gran Turismo 2 mod which aims to add multiple cars to our beloved classic. In this video, I will showcase the most relevant changes made by this project and present my personal thoughts at the end of this video. I would like to thank the team behind Project A-Spec as they were kind enough to provide early access for this channel. You will find a link to their Discord server in the description, and you can join mine while you're at it, so you don't miss any future videos. Because I have to drive a Ford car for 9 hours in Tsukuba, you heard that right. We have reached our goal of 50 supporters, as I have enabled YouTube memberships for those who decide to help this channel. I take this opportunity to remind you all to enable gift memberships, as I have gifted a few in order to reach 50. If you join my YouTube members, the Cone family, you will get early access to my videos, along with a mention at the end of each one, and of course a special role at my Discord server. At the same time, you can support this channel through Patreon if you desire to do so and enjoy similar perks. The link to my Patreon is in the description. Your support makes these videos possible, and each one of you makes a massive difference. Even more so when I make 8 or 9 hours live streams which YouTube demonetizes for no apparent reason. It is thanks to you all that I've been able to afford a PC upgrade, which should come in the next few days. We aren't eating this month, but at least I have an RTX GPU. While Project A-Spec features new cars, it also modifies cars which were already present in Gran Turismo 2. The first change one can notice comes in the shape of new starter cars. These cars have their prices modified, meaning they can be bought with less than 10,000 credits. I appreciate this change because it means we have more than Japanese cars or a Fiat 500 to start our career. Cars which one usually ignores, such as the Opel Corsa by example, are now viable. It never made much sense to me why these cars, which are clearly worse than Japanese offerings, were priced out of the starter market. Nobody will come back for them unless they are looking for challenges, or have played this game so much that they ran out of cars to drive. My personal favorite is the Alfa Romeo 145. It is not the fastest car, and you can tell it isn't the lightest either. However, it managed to be competitive enough to beat early events, which will give you enough money to buy upgrades and continue through the game. Probably the only car which is better is the Dodge Neon. Despite having similar stats, the Neon has better gearing, I believe, meaning it feels quicker than the 145. With a few upgrades, it can totally beat muscle cars. While yes, one can push the Neon quite far and start grinding serious money with it, there's also the fact it might make the game too easy. For those who prefer a challenge, the Fiat dealership has them covered. The new for Gran Turismo 2 days, Fiat 500 and 600 have their prices drop, and they provide rather fun races, as long as there isn't a cappuccino near you, which will grow even stronger for every single like given to this video. Also, I will appreciate if you subscribe to this channel, as less than 10% of my audience is subscribed. We really need to fix this. The Ford Ka can also be bought as a starter, which is a bit too slow to win the first race of the Sunday Cup, but it can beat K-Cars in Seattle short, which is enough to fund some upgrades and conquer the world. I mean, I might as well start believing on this thing given I have to drive it for 9 hours. However, out of all the new starters, there is one which is baffling. The Dodge Stratus is a 4-door saloon which could present an interesting alternative for those who don't want a sporty option. However, this option has been ruined by an arbitrary modification, which drops its power to 100 HP, when in reality it should have around 160. Paired with its long gears and weight, this car is useless. There is no way around it, which is a shame because I was really looking forward to driving something different for a change. Also, one could buy a Peugeot 106 and Renault Clio, the other two starters which I didn't mention at all. All in all, these cars are a welcome change. However, it has to be said, we could use new cars which serve as starters. It would be nice to see cars such as the Peugeot 205, BMW 30, not the M3 because it has been added already, and I could go on and on. The biggest flaw of GT2 for me is the fact other regions could have been represented better, and this could be fixed by adding new starter cars. Cars which people will notice at first glance, because they are unlocked behind any events or require any grinding to be bought. However, the biggest change made by Project A-Spec comes with JGTC cars. It is safe to say many of us discovered this racing series thanks to Gran Turismo, and Gran Turismo 2 probably features the best collection in the entire franchise. Thing is, a few few mistakes were made and these cars aren't as accurate as they should be. For one, they are much more powerful than they should be, which makes them outright broken. Truth be told, in some cases their specs are completely wrong, like the JGTC Skylines being all-wheel drive when they were rear-wheel drive instead. Project A-Spec aims to fix these quirks, and it did a pretty good job. Both GT300 and 500 cars are less powerful, which means their performance has dropped. The rest of their stats remains the same, which means handling hasn't changed. On top of these changes, a lot of new cars for each class were added. It will take a while to list them all, and if you wish to see them individually, then let me know in the comments. We could make a live stream testing them all. It is funny though, as some of the cars added aren't as competitive in their respective class. Probably the worst offender is the MA Auto Mitsubishi Mirage, a GT300 hatchback which is outclassed by most cars in its field. It even struggles to beat touring cars. Then again, it's not like the real car did any better. It doesn't beat the Rosso Lancia 037 however. This is a car which saw service during the Group B days under the Lancia team. However, it ended up racing once in the GT500 class where it was outmatched. The iconic J-Lock GT1 Diablo was also added, where it manages to be more competitive than its real counterpart. It's nice to see this car in Gran Turismo 2 as it was intended to be added, but it didn't make the final cut. The same could be said about the Tyson Porsche GT3. Yes, Project A-Spec added a real Porsche to Gran Turismo 2. We truly live in a wonderful world. With these new cars, I will say this is the strongest point of Project A-Spec. The rework of GT300 and 500 fits right at home with our classic Gran Turismo, and I don't think anyone will feel these cars are out of place. This trend continues with the new LMPs. First of all, we got the iconic McLaren F1 GTR in its glorious long tail form. I have to say this is one of the best models featured in Project A-Spec. It looks really good. It's safe to say some cars look better than others, and this is probably my favorite. Now all we need is the CLK GTR, which is a source of controversy in the Gran Turismo 2 scene, and the Porsche 911 GT1, and we'll have a complete GT1 grid, unless I'm missing someone. Let me know if I did. There's also the BMW V12 LMR, which features an alternative livery which glows in the dark. It looks stunning. There are also other cars which have been modified in order to represent their real-life counterparts. A good example comes with the Lister Storm, which now has its own racing model along a new version which is an evolution of the original design, called the GTL. You can totally tell it has a massive V12 up front because it is a bit understeering heavy. Another car which was modified is the Vector M12 LM Edition, instead replaced with an M12 which raced at IMSA, even if it didn't go too far. Back to new cars, we have the Peugeot 905 in its first spec, which had the rear wheels covered. This one didn't win at Le Mans. However, I think it's an iconic design and I'm glad they added it. It's also really good, totally among the fastest cars added. Maybe it loses to the Mazda 767B with its outlandish livery. I think it's the best car added to Project A-Spec when it comes to outright performance. They also added older LMPs, such as the Alfa Romeo Tipo 33/12, Renault Alpine A44-2B, and Nimrod NRA, which is the only car which I didn't find enjoyable. The steering feels heavy and for some bizarre reason one cannot modify the gear ratios, which makes it feel rather sluggish. The 767B has the same issue, but it's powerful enough to overcome this handicap. While the LMPs are nice, I also want to take a small moment to mention some prototypes which were added, such as the Ford Indigo and Peugeot Dacia. Also, one car which I want to mention is the BMW 840Ci LM Edition, a car made under the same principle as other fictional LM cars, which is quite fun to see. Now that I have talked about cars, I have to mention Project A-Spec seems to have more competent opponents than Vanilla GT2, meaning one needs to use proper race cars when required in order to be competitive. While it's not exactly hard, it does feel a bit more challenging at times. Before I forget, I would like to mention there is a new event added, like the Wind comes back, but this time is 40 laps long in test cars, which means you'll have a 40-minute race at least. It is a bit too long. In Gran Turismo 4, by example, like the Wind is a 10-minute race at least, and I don't think even the biggest test car enthusiast wants to spend over 40 minutes in it, and this comes from someone who usually defends longer races. So with all these changes laid in the table, what do I think about Project A-Spec? First of all, I find the most important changes were made to JGTC cars, to the point where the whole project could be seen as a DLC of sorts, which is purely focused on these cars. The attention to detail and care put into them is commendable, but at the same time, one has to consider GT2 already had a strong roster of JGTC cars, and there aren't infinite slots for new cars. I find these slots should be used in order to fix gaps present in the original GT2 roster. Just to repeat myself, I think the biggest issue of GT2 is the lack of non-Japanese starter cars, which ends up limiting the potential for future playthroughs. While yes, A-Spec does try to fix this, adding cars which fill this role should be vital. The list of cars one could add here is almost endless, but I don't think they need that many. While they had a clear goal with the rework of JGTC classes, the rest of the mod doesn't seem to have a theme to it. They seem to be cars added at personal choice. While I admit they are nice, it does present a situation where every new car seems like a subjective choice. While this isn't exactly a bad thing, it makes one wonder if there's an intention to fix flaws in GT2, rather than keep adding new nice cars. We don't have a release date for Project A-Spec, and they keep posting new cars through multiple Discord servers, which they use to promote their project. While this is nice to see, I feel the current roster is good enough to justify a public release after some bugs and issues are polished. In no small part I made this video to showcase what people could expect from it all. The material is clearly there, it's good. All it needs is to be organized and presented in proper fashion to the public, describe the changes made and state their future intentions with this mod. Another minor detail which will be nice to know are bug fixes, as GT2's play with them even in its latest release. I wonder if Project A-Spec aims to fix these bugs in the same way GT2 Plus did. Only time would tell what lays ahead for Project A-Spec, but I hope they do well. I will do my best to bring a stream showcasing this mod, however it might take a few days given I am upgrading my PC and I will have to reinstall everything in order to record and stream. As I said at the start of this video, it wouldn't be possible with you all, especially those who decide to support this channel with their hard-earned money, or YouTube members, the Cone family. And my supporters at Patreon, we thank them as follows: or amateur racers, professional racers, and world champions: Linedeb, See What Happens Racing UK, Whiskey Tuesday, Sundere Kiselli, Enzo Lassionetti, Raciel, Hunter Kaufman, Just Pig, Crusader Glenn, Lonnie Murray, Ticecam, Matim19, and Aspriel. If you wish to join these wonderful people, you can either join through Patreon or YouTube memberships. We have reached 50 supporters between YouTube memberships and Patreon, which means I will tackle a 9-hour endurance race in Gran Turismo 4 with a Ford Ka. If you wish to see this race live, I recommend you subscribe to my channel and join my Discord server. I will have more news in the following days, once my situation with this PC is sorted. Also, if my voice sounds a bit weird in this video, it's because I have a cold in the middle of spring. If you have enjoyed this video, then make sure to leave a like or a dislike if you didn't. I will see you all next time, either through videos or live streaming. Take care and bye for now.